What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another r/fatlogic bonanza. Taking a look at a couple of fascinating fat acceptance posts, sharing my thoughts on them, and cracking a few jokes. This is episode 121 in the fatlogic series. And I'm ready to have my eyes opened to the righteous and profound message of fat liberation. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Things we've been told are health culture, that are actually just skinny culture. Giant salads as meals. Salads as entire meals are a modern pursuit. Leafy greens and salads can certainly have their place, but they are not calorie or nutrient dense enough to serve as an entire meal. Volume eating. Volume eating is bulk eating foods that are really low calorie, i.e. giant bowls of veggies. It completely ignores our body's need for energy in the name of losing weight. Again, low-calorie vegetables have their place, but they are not meant to be the majority of your diet. Fasted workouts. This can be a fast track to damaged stress hormones and metabolic function. Especially for women, exercise can be done in a way that is entirely unsupportive, and I believe this is one of the biggest offenders. The sugar-free craze. Completely avoiding all sources of sugar, and especially replacing it with artificial alternatives, is one of the biggest disservices the health industry has ever given us. Natural sugars are supportive to our health. Aspartame is not. So much dang lean chicken. I'm not saying don't eat chicken, but it's impossible to get all of the nutrients your body needs off chicken alone. Poorly raised poultry store unstable fats in their tissues, and lean chicken in isolation causes us to miss out on necessary fat-soluble vitamins. Drinking gallons of water. While it is important to be hydrated, over-consuming water, with no minerals, is further flushing our mineral stores. Hydration can also come from fruits, milk, broth, and soups, coconut water, and fresh juices.
Okay, so, first of all, I really don't know what this person is doing, trying to coin a new term, skinny culture, when diet culture is already in common use in the online fatosphere. Like, do I really need to devote any more of my brain capacity to remembering silly fat acceptance terminology? If there's already a word for something, you might as well just use it. It'll be easier for everyone. This rather inconsequential grumble aside, though, I find most of the points that this post puts forward lacking, for one reason or another. So I think the easiest way for me to respond to the post as a whole is just to go through them one by one. So here we go. 1. I really don't see why a big salad can't be an entire meal. I mean, salads are diverse, and can incorporate just about anything you can think of. They tend to be much more nutritious than the calorically dense foods that most people tend to prioritize. And they can be increased in size, or supplemented with various added ingredients to up the calorie count, if you're really that concerned about not getting enough energy. Although for most people, and especially for people who are trying to lose weight, this low calorie count is actually a big part of the appeal. Because believe it or not, having one meal with a low calorie count is not going to result in starvation. Shocking, I know. Furthermore, the whole meal concept is not nearly so fixed or standardized as some fat activists seem to think it is. Some people eat one meal a day, some people eat 2 or 3 a day, and some people might eat as many as 5 a day. There are no set rules around how many meals one is allowed to have. Nor are there set rules around how big meals are supposed to be. It's totally up to the individual, in light of their own needs and preferences. If someone is having one meal a day, and it's a meager green salad, then sure, that might be grounds for concern. But if they're having 3 meals a day, and 2 of these meals are large, and include a lot of protein and carbs, then having a salad for the 3rd meal doesn't seem at all problematic to me. In fact, it seems like a rather healthy and responsible choice. all things considered. 2. Along similar lines, volume eating can be used in an unhealthy way. If someone is using such techniques to avoid eating a healthy amount, then obviously that's a problem. But for many people, it's simply a way of dealing with cravings that lead them to overeat. There's nothing wrong with it. And if anything, it's only likely to improve their overall diet. 3. I don't really know much about fasted workouts, so I don't want to make any bold statements on whether they are safe or optimal. But I'm inclined to say that if people try such techniques, and find that they work well for them, then who are you to demonize that? I probably wouldn't recommend fasted workouts to someone who is just getting into exercise, because I think it's better to ease into things than to go all out and risk injuring or demoralizing yourself. But I don't think that it's fair to call fasted workouts skinny culture, when for many people, they have nothing to do with being skinny, and everything to do with health, fitness, and personal satisfaction. As I say though, I'm not an expert in any of this, so take my opinion with a grain of salt, I guess. 4. By and large, I don't think that people who consume sugar-free products with artificial sweeteners like aspartame do so with the intention of eliminating all natural sugars from the diet. In all likelihood, they still eat plenty of things like fruit. It's just that they don't think that enormous quantities of added sugar or high fructose corn syrup in sodas, breakfast cereals, candy, or whatever else are going to do them any good. And you know what? They're right, so this point doesn't really hold up either. 5. Lean chicken. Once again, very few people, skinny or otherwise, are seriously abandoning all other foods in favor of an all-lean chicken diet. People just recognize that it can be a healthy component of a wider balanced diet. And insofar as there are people who legitimately just eat chicken, naturally, I would advise against this. But the way this post chooses to focus on such an extreme manifestation of a generally healthy dietary trend is just manipulative, and I'm not here for it. And 6. People are drinking too much water. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that really. I suppose some people do drink too much water, but the idea that this is a common issue among the health-conscious population, and that people, in general, would benefit from drinking less water, and instead having soup, fruit, fresh juice, and milk, is totally bizarre to me. Like, if anything, most people could probably afford to drink more water. And also, when I'm thirsty, I'm not going to just crack open a can of soup now. Am I? LMAO, what weird advice. So yeah, all in all, I'm not that worried about the alarming trend of skinny culture. In fact, I'd say that fat culture is a much bigger concern. Call me crazy, but eating salads and lean chicken, and drinking a lot of water, seems a good deal more salubrious than fast food mukbangs and buffet blowouts to me, but what would I know? Right, moving on.
Everyone gets shamed, in so many ways. Just be happy with yourself. But if someone close to me was overweight, I would be concerned, because they are at higher risk for diabetes, heart disease, heart attack, etc. That is real love, being honest, with genuine concern.
Ooh, we have ourselves a concern troll.
But most people have something in their life that is not good for their health, such as not getting annual mammograms, or not wearing a seat belt all the time, or drinking a bottle of wine every other day, or living with untreated sleep apnea, or having sex without a condom. It's not your job to manage other people's health risks, regardless of their weight or your concern. Trust me, when you're overweight, you are already bombarded with all alleged medical facts. We certainly don't need to feel more of that judgment from someone who says it's out of care.
Oh, the cringe of this comment. Say you weren't paying attention, or even care, by saying so much in a paragraph. Also, your concerns deserve to go in trash. I hope you bring this energy to everyone you know who smokes, drinks. Also a truth bomb. Statistically, fat people live longer than their straight-sized counterparts.
Yeah, that last comment is just not even close to right. It's delusional, and I'm not inclined to spend a lot of time on it. Truth bomb, my ass. This idiocy aside though, the overall post actually touches upon a somewhat interesting dilemma, which is, how much, and what kind of concern, is appropriate, when it comes to people in your life with a weight problem, or any other health or safety problem. For that matter, the angry commenters in the post seem to regard anything one might say about the eating, drinking, smoking, seatbelt use, or sex life of someone they know, as intrusive and unwarranted. But I don't agree with this. And on the contrary, I think that in certain circumstances, it is your duty as someone's friend or family member to tell them the truth about these things, regardless of how uncomfortable it might be for each of you. There are a number of factors to consider, of course. Some issues are more delicate or personal than others, e.g., questioning someone's sexual history versus whether they wear a seatbelt. And the appropriateness of commenting on someone's lifestyle is certainly related to how close you are with them. As in, I'd tell my best friend that his drinking was out of hand, but not necessarily a distant acquaintance. On the whole though, I'd like to think that everyone has someone in their life who is close enough to them, and trusted enough by them, to be able to raise any and all such concerns, if they were genuinely worried. I know that if my closest friends were not wearing a seatbelt, chain smoking, regularly drinking to excess, or putting on weight at an alarming rate, I would be inclined to have a word with them. And I would hope that they would do the same for me. Because that's what friendship and family are all about. The good times and the bad, the happy news and the sad, the genuine praise and the honest criticism. Frankly, all I'm getting from these fat activist responses is further confirmation of my belief that fat acceptance is not about helping people live the best lives, and it's certainly not about health. It's just about shielding people from harsh truths that they are not emotionally prepared to hear. And while I'm not unsympathetic to the embarrassment and shame one might feel being questioned about their weight or the drinking or whatever else, I can't help but view this as a supremely damaging approach to one's interpersonal relationships. Because a big part of maturity is the ability to take on board other people's feedback and use it to reflect on your own life choices. Without this capacity, people become stuck in their existing behavioral patterns, even when these behavioral patterns are self-destructive or limiting, often with devastating consequences for their health, relationships, and quality of life. So if even well-intentioned advice from trusted friends and family is too much for these fat activists to bear, then what can I say? I don't see things going well for them in the years to come. No matter how many online buddies they can recruit to suffer alongside them.
Baldness is associated with increased cardiovascular risks. Do doctors advise bald folks get hair transplants in order to reduce their risk? No, we don't, because we know that hair loss itself does not cause the increased risk. So why do we prescribe weight loss surgery?
Well, you sorta just answered your own question there, didn't you? Hair loss doesn't actually cause the increased cardiovascular risk. So there would be absolutely no point in getting a bald person to get hair transplants to mitigate this risk. But obesity does cause increased cardiovascular risk. It is not a mere correlation that can be attributed to a common cause. It is a causative factor in its own right. And this is why doctors will recommend weight loss surgery for obese patients who have been unsuccessful in their attempts to lose weight without assistance. I suppose what this post is implying is the usual fat acceptance talking point that obesity and poor cardiovascular health are only correlated, and that there is no causative link there. But given that this is wrong, and we all know that it's wrong, the analogy falls flat on its face, and the post just totally flops. Which I just found super funny, and wanted to share with everybody, haha. Not much more to say beyond that. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the posts and my commentary. What do you think? Is skinny culture taking over the world? Is caring about the health of your friends and family? Concern trolling? Is having hair loss like being fat? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll make you get hair transplants to combat cardiovascular disease. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.